big on in-state recruiting here on the Redcast, and really just regional. I guess you
Yeah.
could say the 500-mile radius, but in general, the in-state. We've shown this graphic a number of times. It just changed today because one of the in-state kids, Cade McIntyre from Fremont Bergen, he just announced he's going to Oklahoma. But I mentioned Benjamin Brahmer here earlier. He's someone that's committed. I saw some tweets that we had out here. Warren Academy here. You retweeted something from Ben Brahmer. Here's one where you retweeted with Tyson Terry, who is a 2025 in-state kid. And then even Zane Flores, and we've talked about him a couple of times. He didn't get a Nebraska offer, but he's going down to Oklahoma State. Talk about some of the kids that come through there, and what are some of the things that the Warren Academy does, and how does it help prepare these kids to be getting these offers?
The one thing we do is just, offer advice to some of these athletes that are getting recruited. Just on how to handle the process. And we talk to the parents a lot about the different things that they're going to experience and helping them, navigate it. It's for anybody that has not been through it. Recruiting is fun, but it's also very stressful. So we're we're kind of counselors in that way. And then just from the training standpoint, it's whatever they need. Some of the athletes that are on that list have done speed and agility with us or have worked with us in the weight room. Ben Brahmer and Zane and Tyson Terry and those guys do position training with us. The fun thing about Ben, Tyson, and Zane is that we've been a part of their programming and life since they were like fifth, sixth graders, right? They started coming to our camps and stuff when they were like in the fifth and sixth grade. So it's fun to see those pictures of those kids when they were really young. And Tyson Terry's uncle and I, Aaron Terry, who is the recruiting coordinator at Iowa Western, he was I gave him his first job, but he was one of my coaches when I was at Concordia. So Tyson was a young kid running around the weight room with us and working out with the kids when we were out in Concordia. So it's fun to see these kids get these opportunities now, because that's what, our goal and our mission was to help, kids from a young age get to the point to where if they want to go on and play college football or even pro football, that, we were helping them at a young age get prepared for that and to get that opportunity.
Well, and you definitely can see some of the results. We had Michael Severe on last week, and he talked about seeing Tyson Terry on the sideline at Nebraska, and it was like, who is this guy? Is this like a redshirt freshman? Oh no, this is a freshman.
Yeah.
And I had some other guys that were sending me photos of like Ben Brahmer on his most recent visit, and just how much bigger he looked this time around than a year ago. Some of those photos, so you're really seeing the development. Some of the things that obviously that they're doing with you guys are working. So that's very cool to see.
Yeah, and it's work. Devin Jackson is another kid that was, it's fun now. He was just in the weight room today, working out. Took a picture with some of our kids that were training and gave them some advice. And it's fun to see those kids. And all those kids on that list that we've worked with are all great kids. That's the one thing that I love about, the kids in this state. Like, for the most part, all of those kids are really quality kids, and their families are great people. So it's our job is pretty easy because we've got great athletes to work with and ones that want to get better and that listen. So it makes our job pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned, giving advice. So how does that, like right now, I mean, there's so many things going on. The recruiting has changed so much just in the last 5 years, let alone, I can imagine when you were coming out of Springfield, back in the 90s, how different it is from then. But just in the last 5 years, NIL and even transfer portal, which goes, into after they've already been recruited to a school, but still, how, what kind of advice or, how do you work with the kids in terms of kind of giving them mentorship during this recruiting time? Because they've got to be getting so many things in their heads and ears, and they hear so many things from different coaches. So what, how do you help them through, kind of navigate through that?
It changes every day. So that's the hard part is, now I would love to be in this recruiting process, just because the opportunities that you have with the NIL, like there's some huge opportunities for a lot of our kids that we're working with to go in and make some, life-changing money in the beginning. Things that we never would have thought possible when we were playing. So I would love to be a part of that if I was an athlete coming out right now. But at the same time, the the amount of other stuff that comes along with it. There's always going to be those hanger-ons and those people that are trying to take advantage of, who you are and trying to, gain some type of advantage for themselves or opportunity for themselves. So as a 16, 17-year-old, you don't really understand that until something negative happens to you. So, we try to do our part and just to be um, a voice that they know they can trust. That we don't want anything other than to see them win, and that's always been our thing. Is a lot of our coaches, we've had our time to shine. We played in the NFL. We've had all the limelight and all the stuff that comes along with it, and we're not really interested in that anymore. I'm an old man now with 4 kids of my own, and I don't have time for a lot of the stuff that happens in the public eye. I don't really want to be a part of it. I just want to go to work and come home and train. So we don't need any of that stuff. We don't need any of the light. We don't need any of the accolades. We just want to see these kids win, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to show this graphic again. It's intriguing to us. We bring this up a lot, and it's the importance, for Nebraska to be good. Again, you got to recruit, well in state, and just in this 1 year alone, we mentioned Zane Flores, who we didn't offer, but there's 8 other kids that have gotten offers that are in state. 4 of them have committed. There's 4 from 2024. There's 2 from 2025, and there's Deshaun Prince from Omaha Benson already in 2026. So that he's just getting out of being a freshman or 8th grader, I guess. You see that right now, and you read this when you go to any of the Rivals or 24/7 or any of those, that there's so much more talent in the state. And I guess you've had a chance now to work for over a decade with these kids. Is there more talent now, or is it just being identified more by more coaches coming and finding it? Has it always been there, but now it's just really getting developed through programs like the Warren Academy? I mean, what are you seeing from a in-state and regional base from a talent standpoint?
I would say there's more talent now than there was when we first started training. When we first started, we had there's always 1 or 2 guys in every city, Lincoln or Omaha or somewhere in the surrounding areas that had Nebraska type talent. But I think now you're seeing it in every class and multiple. And just the one thing is like the access to training now that kids have. I think that's changed a lot. And the things kids are doing now, from a training standpoint, they're starting earlier. From a development standpoint and a technique standpoint, they're starting earlier. And they're getting really good at their craft. So there's always been athleticism. I don't know if there's always been the technique behind it or the development behind it. There's always been good size here. That's one thing that, some of the people that I know from around the country that have always recruited the area, they've always come into Nebraska and look for linemen. So there's always been like those linemen, tight end type people. But now you're seeing quarterbacks and running backs and receivers and tight ends and linemen. Now you're seeing the whole gamut of athleticism in every position.
We've got a question that came through here. Jason Stenger, he's lighting up our question board, and he wants to know how many of the in-state kids that have a Nebraska offer have you worked with?
Probably 60 to 70% of those kids. If they've been around Omaha, if they're from the Omaha area, they've come through Warren Academy at some point. A lot of the kids, like I said, we've worked with from a young age, and now they're now they're at the level that they're at right now. So from that list alone, I think there's 7 kids that are doing stuff with our coaches or that have come through our program or that come over and do things and work with our guys.
Mm-hmm. So just in the last couple of weeks, we've had in Lincoln the Friday night light camp, and then there's other camps that are going on. So does the Warren Academy kind of collectively, do you send kids to these camps? Does it work like that, or does each individual kid just kind of go on their own, or do you assist with getting them to camps like that?
The only really assistance that we do as far as getting kids to camps, if we have kids that can't afford to go, we try to help. We try to help with from the dream side of it. We're able to take some of our discretionary funds and help a kid maybe get to camp or pay for camp. But as far as like going to camps, we don't really transport kids unless, again, if someone needs it and they don't have a ride, we'll take care of that. We've done that in the past. Our big thing is just getting them ready for camp. So we're doing the things in-house to make sure that they're ready to go when they get to camp, so they can excel out there.
I think it's interesting is that, so this is the human element of this. Sometimes, as fans, we just think of recruits as just, they're just cogs in the machine. They're just, a 4-star or 3-star. And there's real life to this. There's money that it costs to go to camps. You have to travel and get to camps. It's not everything is, sometimes I think we have these illusions of, it's big NIL money and all that. And sometimes it's, we got to get kids to these places. You got to get them seen. They've got to be able to find transportation, all that stuff, the human element behind it. And I think that's really cool what Dream does. I think it's really cool what Warren Academy does to work with these kids and try to build them kind of holistically, not just physically, but also, prepare them for it. I think something that's interesting today, Cade McIntyre from Fremont, he got an Oklahoma, or he committed to Oklahoma. Yeah. So that's a second kid in 2 years from the state of Nebraska that's going to Oklahoma. We've had, Iowa come in here. We've had Oregon. Coaches aren't afraid to come into Nebraska now. And there's a lot of coaches. And I look at that, quite honestly, personally, I think it's good. I mean, I want Nebraska kids pursued, and I want them to come to Nebraska if at all possible. But I love the fact that, schools aren't shying away because the talent is here. I want the talent to be identified. So I think it's a great thing that Warren Academy seems like it's come at the right time, because the talent is here, and it needs organizations like the Warren Academy to help get those kids recognized and developed to get to the point where they're getting those offers. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to see the amount of colleges that are in here now. It'd be, I'm a Husker, so it'd be nice for us to, to draw a line around our borders and, lock these kids in here and get them to Nebraska. But at the same time, the Warren Academy Dream side of me, the person that's here to help, to help guide kids and give them the advice, we're not really sold on them just going to Nebraska. We want them to go to the best place that it's good for them and their family. Now, we hope they go to Nebraska. We hope they would all stay at Nebraska, but at the same time, we're going to support them wherever they go, because it's their lives to live. It's their decision. They have to play there. They have to do the things. They have to go to school. They have to be away from their families or with their families, and it's their decision. So whatever their decision is, we're there to support them. But at the same time, being a Nebraska guy, it would be nice to see, some of those guys stay home and help us get on the right track. But if they don't, we're going to cheer for them either way. We've had a lot of guys that have left. Noah Fant and Harrison Phillips were two of our guys that trained with us growing up and coming through here. And of course, we know where they're at right now in the NFL and what they've done and what they're going to continue to do. So, there's opportunities besides Nebraska, but, sometimes it would be nice to see these guys just say we're staying home.
Yeah. Hey, we're a Nebraska podcast. That's what we want to see too, Do some of those guys, do they come back? Are they alumni of the Warren Academy? Will they come back with Fant and Phillips and help out? How does that?
Yeah. So they're all alumni. They're all guys that come back. And like I said, Jackson was in today and talking to some of our kids, and Noah comes back and works with us and does things when he's in town. If he needs a place to work out, he'll call, and, we'll open up the doors. Harrison Phillips is back all the time and doing things. So we try to stay very connected with our guys and make sure that they know they're always welcome, and that we're here for them if they need us.